Welcome back, networking enthusiasts. Today we'll discuss the role of chains in Nftables. We'll talk about the purpose of having multiple chains and see how packets traverse them. We'll also discover how verdict maps can help you optimize your networking rules. My name is Philip. Let's get started. If you haven't already, I encourage you to watch my Nftables introduction video, as some of the topics we'll be covering today will be based on that knowledge. First, let's quickly go through the basics of chains. Chains group your firewall rules together. Unlike IP tables, in Nftables we don't have predefined chains, but we can create as many chains as we want and name them whatever we like, as long as it's something meaningful. Chain name should correspond to chain function. To create a chain, we just put a chain keyword followed by the chain name. Next step is to attach a chain to a hook. There are various points in the packet processing path where you can register hooks. Hook will intercept the packet and will allow you to inspect or manipulate it. As we want to process incoming traffic to our server, let's attach to the input hook. Registering at this hook will cause all incoming traffic destined for our system to be processed by the newly created input chain. Once we have packets flowing through our chain, we can write some rules. Let's do a very basic thing. Count the number of packets arriving at TCP port 80. First thing to do is match packets arriving at TCP destination port 80 and then count them. If you would like to perform a similar count but for outgoing packets, we need to create another chain. I will name it output. Because we want to process outgoing traffic, we need to attach our chain to a different hook, an output hook. This will cause all outbound traffic originating from our server to go through that chain. Here we can count the outgoing packets to TCP port 80 with a similar rule. Keep in mind that you should not attach a single chain to multiple hooks. Attaching a single chain to two or more hooks will not work. That's the reason we have two chains, one for incoming traffic attached to input hook and one for outgoing traffic attached to output hook. Of course, nothing is stopping you from attaching to the same hook in two different chains, like this. Let me create a new chain and attach it to the same input hook. This will cause both chains input and input 2 to process incoming traffic. I will load the configuration and perform connection attempt from a client machine to port 80 TCP of our server. If we list the configuration, we discover that counters increased for both input and input 2 chains. Important thing to mention is that hooks are processed sequentially. Chain that register to the hook the latest will be processed first. In our case, the incoming packets will go via the input 2 chain and then via input chain. If you drop the packet in this input 2 chain, the traffic would never reach the input chain. Let me load the configuration, perform connection attempt, and list the configuration. The input chain counter was not increased because the traffic was dropped in the input 2 chain. I would advise to stick to single entry point for a particular traffic type, as multiple entry points may be difficult to troubleshoot. Let's continue. You can organize your rules into multiple chains. One chain can point to another chain, and that chain can point yet to another chain, and so on. As long as they don't form a loop, we should be good. You can split your rules into chains based on interfaces, traffic type, or any other criteria that you can consider. This allows the configuration to be more readable and easier to maintain. I will start with a very basic setup that has a single input chain attached to the input hook. Let's create another chain and name it chain 1 and put a counter inside. Let's add one more chain named chain2 and include a counter within it as well. If we load the configuration, no traffic will traverse chain 1 or chain 2 as they are not attached to any hook. There's yet another way for a chain to process traffic. We can jump to it from a chain that is processing traffic already. Let me show you. I will add a rule that counts incoming traffic on TCP port 80. Instead of accepting or denying the traffic, I will put a jump keyword followed by the chain name. This will cause incoming packets to TCP port 80 to first go via this rule in the input chain, and then the traffic will be evaluated in chain 1, effectively going via this rule. I will load the configuration and perform connection attempt from a client machine. Counters in both input and chain 1 have increased. Important thing to mention is that after rule evaluation in chain 1, the control goes back to the input chain that made the jump. Let's demo that. I will add another rule in the input chain, but this time I will ask it to jump to chain 2. I will load the configuration and perform connection attempt from a client machine. All 4 counters have increased. Let's analyze the traffic flow to better understand what's going on. First, the packet matches this rule in the input chain. Then it goes to chain 1, where packet matches this rule. Then it goes back to input chain, where it matches this rule. Next, it goes to chain 2, where it matches this rule. And finally goes back to input chain, where it is accepted due to default accept policy. Just to recap, jump target just passes the control to a different chain, and at the end of that chain, the control goes back to the place that initiated the jump. If you wish to exit target chain before reaching its end, you can simply specify the return keyword. It will cause the Nftables to stop evaluating further rules and go back to the chain that initiated the jump. I will load the configuration and perform a connection attempt. This particular counter is 0 because control returned to input chain before reaching this rule. Just to quickly go through the flow. First, the traffic matches this rule in input chain. Then it goes to chain 1, where it matches this rule. Because of the return keyword, the packet immediately goes back to input chain, where it matches this rule, and then the packet goes to chain 2, where it matches this rule. Finally, it goes back to the input chain, where it's accepted. So far, we've looked at rules that just count the traffic to perform jumps. If we place an accept or drop keyword, it will cause Nftables to stop evaluating further rules and exit immediately. I'm reloading the configuration and making a connection attempt. If we go through the flow, the traffic hits this rule, then it jumps to chain 1, where it's dropped. That's it. Packet will not match any other rules. The drop decision is final and ends the packet journey. As a side note, the drop verdict drops the packet silently. The client waits for a timeout. I will replace the drop keyword with reject and reload the configuration. With the reject keyword, the client did receive immediate feedback that the connection is not allowed. Firewall did reply back with an ICMP message, destination port unreachable. You can also specify other reject reasons. Apart from jumping to a target chain with jump keyword, you can also go to the chain with goto keyword. The difference is, if you use jump, the packet will go back to the place it was called from once it reaches the end of the target chain. With the goto keyword, the packet will not go back to the place it was called from. Let's demo that. I will swap jump with goto and reload the configuration. Then perform a connectivity test. If we analyze the traffic flow, the packet first hits this rule in the input chain, then it moves to the chain 1 due to goto statement, hits this rule, and eventually is accepted due to accept policy in the input chain. The packet does not go back to the input chain, hence those counters are 0. As we know the basics of moving between chains, let's try to see that in action. Let's say we would like to organize our incoming rules into 3 chains. A TCP chain that will handle incoming TCP traffic, UDP chain that will handle incoming UDP traffic, and ICMP chain that will handle incoming ICMP traffic. Just for the demo purpose, I will put a dummy counter accept rule that will allow all traffic. In the input chain, let's put respective rules. If the protocol is TCP, let's jump to TCP chain. If the protocol is UDP, let's jump to UDP chain. If the protocol is ICMP, let's jump to ICMP chain. Let's load and list the configuration. Do you see how neat and tidy that is? Input chain splits the incoming traffic by protocol, and the actual processing is handled inside dedicated chains. Such a construction where you have conditions on the left, like protocol TCP, protocol UDP, and action on the right, like jump chain TCP, jump chain UDP, is ideal for verdict maps. I will rewrite this block using a verdict map. First, you need to specify the condition. In our case, it's IP protocol. Then you put a vmap keyword to indicate you'd like to use a verdict map. Inside the curly braces, you specify the mapping. For TCP protocol, the action is jump to chain TCP. For UDP protocol, the action is jump to chain UDP. For ICMP protocol, the action is jump to chain ICMP. Using verdict maps is much cleaner than repeating the same rule over and over again with just different conditions. Moreover, you can use concatenations. If you want to know more about concatenations, please check my video on Nftable sets. For example, if I'd like to match incoming interface and the protocol, you could write it like this. Basically, on the left side, we are matching by incoming interface and IP protocol. Then on the right side, we have an action. So TCP traffic coming via ETH0 interface will be processed by ETH0 chain TCP. UDP traffic coming via ETH0 interface will be processed by ETH0 chain UDP, and so on. A verdict map is not only useful for separating traffic into multiple chains. You can also accept or deny the traffic. This is a common rule that accepts connections based on a state in the connection tracking table. Established and related connections are accepted, and invalid connections are dropped. We could rewrite this rule using verdict maps. We just match on the contract state and provide a vmap on the right. Established connections should be accepted, related connections should be accepted, invalid connections should be dropped. In more complex scenarios, it is recommended to split your rules into multiple chains. It allows you to organize your firewall configuration into a more modular fashion. Instead of having a long list of rules in a single chain, you can group related rules together in a separate chains to make your configuration more organized and easier to manage. Moreover, it makes your rules more readable as you can name the chains in a descriptive manner so that it becomes clear what particular chain is meant to do. Additionally, a separate chain allows you to focus on a smaller subset of rules. On top of that, verdict maps will allow you to write your rules in a more consistent manner. Next time, I will show you how separate chains and maps compose nicely with network address translation.